Hello, my name is Dr. Susan Shapiro, and I'd like to welcome you to Increasing Social Emotional Health in Preschool Classrooms through Mindful Meditation. So, the learning outcome for this session is that I want you to experience exercises that can be used to implement meditation in the classroom and at home. And I want you to be able to access mindful techniques to help you to reduce stress. Life can be stressful. We know it for children, teachers, and families, especially during the course of this pandemic. And even on the best of circumstances, teaching is a stressful job, especially when dealing with young children and families. It's also stressful on families and it's stressful on kids. And the point of this workshop is that you have an opportunity to start to think about stress and find ways to alleviate it. Now, I've been working in early childhood for my entire career, over 25 years, both as a teacher, administrator, and as a college professor. And during that time, I can tell you, I have certainly had my huge amount of stress. And eventually, I had to find a way to deal with these stresses as they kept building up and building up and building up. They were taking it out on me. It was making my life hard. It was making my family's life hard. And I really couldn't be the best that I could be in the classroom or with teachers or with families when I was trying to negotiate this huge amount of stress. And I think especially now, when we're in a heightened state of crisis, we think about stress, and stress plays a huge part of what's going on in our lives. And the more resources that we have available to help us through this time, the better. And mindful meditation is a wonderful way to start to deal with it. So I know you have stress in the classroom, stress from the kids, stress when you're Zooming, all this Zooming, stress from parents, and stress from your family, administrators, from the people around you. I mean, stress is all over the place. So how do we reduce this level of stress? What can we do to make it better, to give us a little reprieve from this so we can really concentrate on the things that are important? Well, one way is through mindful meditation. And mindfulness is where you focus on being aware of just one thing. Most of the time, we're thinking about listening to this workshop. We're thinking about going to the grocery store afterwards. We're thinking about the fact that there's kids in the classroom who need our help. There are parents who are waiting for our phone calls afterwards. There are our own children who need attention. And especially now, a lot of us are trapped in the house, or we're worrying about how we're going to get to work, or we're worrying about being exposed to others. There are so many stressors, and there are so many things that we're thinking about all of the time. Well, mindfulness is a time when we're concentrating on just one thing. And we're not passing judgment on it. We're not trying to understand it. Instead, we concentrate on exactly what we're doing on that one thing. And we keep bringing our mind back to that one experience over and over and over again. And it's that exercise of bringing our attention back to that one thing that really helps us to be mindful and to reduce stress so that we can relax and concentrate on a single thing instead of this great series of other things that are always trying to grab our attention. The benefits of meditation and mindful meditation are huge. In terms of physiological influences, we can lower our blood pressure. It can help us in terms of disease, and a lot of disease is stress-related, and it can help with pain. A lot of times when we have pain, we're trying to constantly push it out. And this gives us a way to really concentrate and start to relax into our bodies. It can definitely help in terms of behavioral and cognitive influences, how we think, how we behave. So our reaction time gets better. We get a little bit better in terms of our eye-hand coordination. We're able to concentrate for longer periods of time. We can remember things, and we're a little bit smarter on the uptake. You can sleep better. you feel better about life. And hopefully, we start to lower our anxiety and stress and all the ways that we try to self medicate. And those can be overcome just by being very present and using these benefits of meditation. Now, this isn't going to cure everything. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is the more that we do this, the more centered we become, and the more we can see gradual benefits. This also helps in terms of children. A lot of times children have these high level of stress, especially right now with the pandemic going on. And we just expect children to be able to handle it. We know that they can't. We see it in the classroom. We see them, their behaviors change. We see them crying more. We see issues with potty training going backwards. The more that children have tools, and this is something we don't generally teach. We teach, keep your hands to yourself. We tell them, to pay attention. But we're really giving them tools that they're going to need for the rest of their life in order to deal with issues involving stress. And stress is here to stay, unfortunately, and it will be part of children's lives. So we're going to begin with our first meditation called a smiling meditation. This is going to give you a sense of what you can do and one of the exercises that you can use that can help you to begin to lower your stress. We will begin our first meditation exercise, the smiling meditation, by taking a long inhale through your nose and a long exhale through your mouth. Close your eyes and sit with your back straight and your hands resting gently on your thighs. Begin breathing in through your mouth and out through your mouth. Now begin to count your inhales. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and breathe out, 1, 2, 3. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and breathe out, 1, 2, 3. Continue this on your own, counting your inhale. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and breathe out, 1, 2, 3. Now I want you to begin to think about a smile. And I want you to let that smile come forth. Feel your lips pulling up into a smile. And begin to move the muscles of your face to form a big, happy smile. Hold that smile as you count your breaths. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. As you hold the smile, think about how it shows the happy times, laughter, fun with friends, moments with family. Use that thought to make that smile wider, bigger, happier as you breathe and inhale. 1, 2, 3. And exhale. 1, 2, 3. Now I want you to let go of the smile. Let the smile fade back. Let the muscles of your face relax. Think of how your face feels now. Think of the muscles on your face and the relaxation. As you breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and relax. 1, 2, 3. Now I want you to bring the smile back to your face. Move the muscles until you once again are smiling. And think of those moments again that brought you joy, that made you smile. As you breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and breathe out. 1, 2, 3. Now slowly begin to open your eyes. Flex your hands open and closed. And lift your eyes back to the screen. Welcome back. One of the things you may ask yourself after watching this meditation is, how on earth is this going to work with my class? They're not going to sit for this long period of time. Well, the thing is no one knows your class better than you. You know the pitfalls, you know what works, you know what doesn't work. And you also can think of some modifications. So some ways to do it is to shorten the meditation. Another way to do it is to have the children do it during rest time, to sit and when they normally have time, when they rest their bodies, and it'll give them something to listen to instead of a book, story, or music. Another way that you can make this meditation work in your classroom is definitely to shorten the length or to extend it if the children really seem interested. The biggest thing is you're going to be the judge of how and when this will work. Another thing to think about is if it doesn't work with the children in your classrooms, it might work with you. And it might be worth taking a time out each day just to give yourself a little extra time and care and compassion. Another good resource for mindfulness in the classroom is body scan battleships. This is best achieved when picking 2 children to work with each other. It can even be done on Zoom. One player looks at the other player and they guess what 3 areas on that other person's body is where they feel the most tension. As they sit, they can circle it on a piece of paper. Both participants do that. They go back and forth, trying to guess where the most tension is on someone's body. Then each player takes 3 to 5 minutes, slowly scanning their own body, with attention to identify the 3 areas of most tension. Once these have been identified, they can circle the places on a piece of paper. They can even take time to draw their own body. The winner is the person who scores the most hits out of 3. Now, when they do this body scan, the way that you can help facilitate it is each child sits with their hands resting lightly on their thighs. They'll take a deep breath like they did with a smiling meditation, and they will begin to think about their body from the top of their head to their face, to their neck, to their shoulders, to their arms, to their lower arms, to their hands, to their torso, to their upper legs, to their lower legs, and to their feet. Back from their feet to their lower legs, to their upper legs, to their torso, to their shoulders, to their upper arms, to their lower arms, to their hands, to their face, and to the top of the heads. You can help facilitate this by doing exactly what I did just now and having them think of each part of their body in turn to find the places with the most tension. And that's how you play Body Scan Battleships. A game like Body Scan Battleships may be a little bit more difficult with younger children who may have a problem making that cognitive jump from internalizing that feeling of tension to a piece of paper. They may also have problems with vocabulary like tension. You may want to think of it in different terms uh, like tough or hard or stiff instead of words like tension, which may be really difficult for younger children to understand. You can compare it with holding your body in a rigid position and tensing all of your muscles so that children get that feeling of what it means to be tense. And they've had that experience ahead of time. You may find that they cannot recognize different parts on their body when they look at a sheet, in which case you can just have them verbally say it or hold up a different part of the body. If you have problems doing this in the classroom, you may want to isolate children and have them go off into the rest corner, into a quiet corner to do it, where they're not distracted by the class at large. In terms of using it on Zoom, you can use breakout rooms and put the children into breakout rooms and have them do it, or have them do it in front of the rest of the kids and have all the rest of the kids try to guess and then have the children go through it themselves. There's lots of different ways that you can play body scan battleships, but once again, you know your class better than anyone else will know their class. And so you can make modifications as you see necessary. Also, I suggest you try this with a co-teacher or a friend. It can be really effective of alleviating a little bit of stress in a fun and engaging way. For this meditation, you will need a pen or a crayon and a piece of paper. This meditation can be done in a classroom, by yourself, or even on Zoom. Take the pen or the crayon in your hand above the paper, and with your first inhale, move the pen to the top of the paper. With your exhale, move the pen to the bottom of the paper. With your inhale, move the pen to the top of the paper. And with your exhale, move the pen to the bottom of the paper. Each time that you breathe, move the pen up to the top of the paper and move the pen down to the bottom of the paper. Concentrate on this movement. As you move the pen, you may find things that distract you. Is it a thought? Feeling? Is it a plan for later or something you've done in the past? Each time you are distracted, draw the picture on the paper and then go back to moving the pen up the paper with the inhale and down the paper with the exhale. Each time you find yourself distracted, stop and draw a picture of what is distracting you. Then move your pen up the paper with the inhale and down the paper with the exhale. Up the paper with the inhale and down the paper with the exhale, pausing each time to draw a picture of your distractors, of your thoughts. Now, as you begin to end this exercise, close your eyes and take a deep breath. And open your eyes and take a look at your paper. The children can show each other the pictures that they drew or keep it to themselves to look at later. In a meditation like this, you may have to make accommodations for younger children, such as taping the paper down to the table so it doesn't slip each time they go up and down with their breath. Another accommodation is that younger children may not yet be doing representational art. So when you give them the opportunity to draw what they think, they may have a difficult time and it may take them out of the exercise. One of the ways to work around this is to have them move their pen with what they're feeling so that they can do a scribble scrabble that really shows the emotion or the thought that they're having. And they're not so bogged down with having to do representational art that might not be developmentally appropriate. Another issue that you may find may be attention span. And you'll have to tailor this to your class. And once again, you know what your children can accommodate. It may be that this goes on too long for them. It may be that it takes them a little bit of time just to start to relax enough to be able to move the pen up and down the paper. Another way to accommodate this is to use paint. The paint brushes will give them a real tactile feeling as they move up and down the paper. Once again, you'll be the judge of what works best for your class and how to best accommodate the learners in your classroom. I also suggest that you try this yourself. It's incredibly relaxing and a really fun activity as well. This meditation is called pinwheel meditation. For this meditation, you'll need a pinwheel. If you don't have one, you can imagine that you're holding one. You begin the meditation by looking at your pinwheel. If you don't have one, close your eyes and imagine it in front of you. Begin with long breaths, moving the pinwheel in long, steady breaths as you blow out on the pinwheel. 1, 2, 3. Another long, steady breath. 1, 2, 3. Take another deep inhale and blow out on your pinwheel. 1, 2, 3. Watch the way that the pinwheel turns with your long, steady breaths directed at the movement of the pinwheel. Now, use short, steady breaths to blow the pinwheel. Quick, successive breaths to watch the pinwheel turn. Do this 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now breathe on the pinwheel using your natural breath. Watch the turn of the pinwheel. Now, again, take a deep, steady inhale. Fill up your lungs all the way and blow on the pinwheel. 1, 2, 3. Take another deep breath and blow on the pinwheel. 1, 2, 3. Now take another deep breath and do short little breaths on your pinwheel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Deep breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, once again, use your natural breath on the pinwheel and watch the way it turns. And take one more deep, steady breath and blow out on the pinwheel. 1, 2, 3. And one last breath. Deep inhale. 1, 2, 3. And watch the pinwheel slowly wind down. One of the accommodations that you might need to make with a pinwheel meditation may have to do with health. There are 2 health issues that may have an impact on this meditation. The first health issue has to do with COVID. You don't want children breathing out onto an object in a classroom. This can be accomplished by doing this on Zoom or by having every child have their own pinwheel and facing different directions. This also can be done outside with the force of the wind as opposed to their breath. Another accommodation may have to do with children who are asthmatic and may not be able to take the deep breaths required to move the pinwheel. If that's the case, once again, taking a child outside and using the force of the wind and having them watch the movement of the pinwheel can be just as mindful and meditative and can also help stop the spread of germs in your classroom, which we're all thinking about these days. This exercise is called a body scan. It can be done in a number of ways, but the idea is to go through each body part, tense and release it. That way you will achieve overall relaxation. This can be done either sitting in a chair or lying on the floor. So let's begin. Start by closing your eyes, taking a deep breath and filling up your whole body with that breath. Take in the breath, take it in, and let it go. Now, think about your face. Scrunch up every muscle of your face. Squeeze it till it's teeny, tiny, and let it go. Now, think about your shoulders. And take your shoulders and squeeze them all the way up till they touch your ears, and then let them go. Now, start to think about your arms, just your arms, and then squeeze those arms as hard as you can. Feel every muscle bunching up, bunch, and then let them go. Take your attention on your hands and ball your hands into fists, the hardest fists you've ever had, until they feel like they're made of metal. And squeeze. and let them go. Now think about your tummy and squeeze everything in. Make it tight, 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 like a rubber band just being pulled, 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 and then let it go. Now, think about the top of your legs. Take the top of your legs and squeeze, 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 squeeze them, and then let them go. Now, think about the muscles in the bottom of your legs called calf muscles and ball them up. Make it feel like you're running, running, running. Squeeze them, but don't run. Just make those muscles tight and hard, and then let them go. Now, think about your feet. Make your feet bunch up, bunch up, bunch up, bunch up, bunch up. Point them and bunch them, and then let them go. Now, think about your toes and squeeze those toes. Make them bunch up into little balls. Squeeze, 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 and then let them go. Now, think about your whole body. Can you make your body really hard like a pencil and squeeze every single muscle of your body? Squeeze it, squeeze, 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 and then let it go. Now take a deep breath and let that breath go from the top of your head to your face, to your shoulders, to your tummy, to your arms, to your legs, to your lower legs, and all the way down to your feet. And breathe again all the way from the top of the head to the bottom of your feet and let it go. Some accommodations that you may have to make in the body scan may have to do with vocabulary and children really not understanding what it means to tense each muscle. You can work on this ahead of time by showing them things that are tense, either with their bodies or with things like rubber bands or things that you pull and make as rigid as you can or straight as you can, like pencils, tabletops. And you can even take a nature walk and look around and find things that may represent that feeling out in nature. Another issue that you may encounter is with children wanting to kick out or move their body each time you do a tense. The recommendation for this is to give children their own area where they can move their bodies, either laying down on a rest mat or sitting in a chair. This type of body scan is also very effective with adults and really can help you pinpoint places of stress and help you to release them as well. The 5 exercises that I have listed in this video should be very helpful in giving you a basis for understanding the use of mindfulness and meditation in the classroom. Mindfulness, as you can see by the exercises, is simply paying attention to one thing, whether it be the movement of a pen, whether it be the movement and scrunching up of your body and letting things go, whether it be the breath that you use to make the pinwheel go. It's that attention that's being paid to one particular task at one particular time that defines itself as mindfulness. This gets rid of all the outside activities and thoughts and bouncing around that we do inside of our heads and really helps us concentrate on that one thing at a time, helping to promote clear thinking and relaxation. Another technique that we used in this workshop was meditation, with the smiling meditation. During that time, we also used different techniques of mindfulness, paying attention to one particular thing at a time. The muscles of the face as we smile, the movement of our breath. It's paying attention to those things, quieting the mind, trying to concentrate on one thing, that really helps promote mindfulness. Now, a lot of times there are pitfalls and difficulties to this. We're so used to our mind racing around that it's very difficult to try to bring it in and concentrate on one thing. And it takes practice. So each time that you find your mind wanders away, be okay about it. It happens. You're just learning a new practice. The children should get this idea too, that it's okay for the mind to wander as long as they try to bring it back. And it's that constant activity of letting the mind wander, bringing it back, and going back to the task at hand, moving the pencil, thinking about our breath, that helps to promote mindfulness. Over a period of time, doing these activities again and again and again can get us in touch with our thoughts and can help us in terms of concentrating on one particular task at a time. Now, I've included accommodations in this video. We work with different age ranges of children, different abilities, different developmental needs, different physical needs. There's lots of children with special needs in our classroom as well. And you need to think about each one of them when you bring it in. As someone who's brought mindfulness into the classroom, I can tell you it's not always the easiest thing. You've got lots of giggles, you've got lots of kids acting out, you've got kids getting up, kids shrieking, making noises during your mindfulness practice, and it's enough to make you just want to stop as soon as you begin. But my advice to you is don't do that. Really give it time. Do it again and again. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to let the kids run around with it for a little while too and be a little bit crazy with it. I'm sure if you do this with your friends, you're going to giggle a little bit too. And probably watching my video, you did a little giggling. But the fact is, we all really need to work on stress. We teach children their ABCs, we teach them colors, we teach them how to be good friends. We also need to teach them to be compassionate to themselves and take the time to reflect and take the time to relax and show them that it's a worthy thing to do. I really urge you, especially in times like this, to try these, even on Zoom when you're working with your kids remotely. Even if at first it doesn't pay off, the more that you do it, you'll find in the end, there are little bits of sunshine, little bits of things that really work out. And hopefully that'll be enough to have you try this a few times, more than once. I really hope you have wonderful success with mindfulness and meditation. And I hope that while you watched this workshop, you were able to try some of those techniques yourself. And at least you walk away feeling a little bit more relaxed than you did when you started watching me. So have a wonderful day. Treat yourself with compassion and try some of these when you get a chance. Thank you.